Yo, ladies and gentlemen, what's going on? This is your host, Sunny. We're back at it again, another week of It's Always Sunny in the Six. I must say, June is here. Weather is remarkable. I hope you guys are getting outside. And today, in the studio for the first time here in the East End, I got my homie, Tony, aka Blitzkrieg, in the studio. He just dropped his most recent project, Demo Tapes. Blitzkrieg is a South Asian rapper. He's a veteran when it comes to the South Asian music industry, internationally renowned. He has a stacked resume of some of the work that he's done, the people that he's collaborated with, so many stories. But more importantly, he shares a story about Demo Tapes, the origin, how it started, the journey that he's been on during the course of this pandemic. I honestly think you guys are going to really enjoy this episode. So tune in. Demo Tapes out now. Check it out. Subscribe to the podcast if you haven't already. And let's just get this conversation going. Let's go. I just like the way, the flexibility of saying the word fuck whenever I want to, or
do whatever the hell you want to do
what I mean?
when you want to do it.
There's all this red tape and stuff. Whereas, I don't have any script. I wasn't prepared for this.
No, I don't even want a script.
It's not like I don't prepare at all, right?
Nor should you. You
shoot the shit. Everyone else is a fly on the wall kind of thing.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, exactly.
So when I did it, I recorded the first episode and got the branding. It's Always Sunny in the Six.
Yeah, I like it.
And and momentum came. I'm like, fuck, this is kind of fun, right? So,
yeah.
Did that, and then pandemic hit, came to the condo, did it through my condo.
Yeah.
Came back home now to my parents. I'm like, fuck, what do I do? Do I just wait?
Yeah.
But then I ended up doing it virtually, and now you're actually my first guest, Tony.
Oh shit.
In this crib, yeah. Because I was a little reluctant, because I'm like, since I live at home too.
Yeah, of course.
But now everyone's getting vaccinated, and that's a completely different conversation to have.
Yeah.
but I'm like, I'd rather do it in person than do it virtually, right?
Dude,
So,
in person's always the best. Number two, it's like we know each other. Fuck. Like Pinder's like one of my best friends. So I've known Pinder my whole life.
You know when's the first time we met?
It was when Juggy D came down.
Yeah. So when I was involved with OPA.
Which school were you at?
York.
Exactly.
Yeah,
so he was that's when me and him shot the Take Your Picture video.
Yeah.
And I needed him to come to town, and it just kind of logistically worked out where the promoter was like, here, talk to the head of OPA because they want to book him for York anyways. Yeah. So you line up the dates that fit with your video shoot. Yeah. And that's when I first connected with you. And I was like, yo, Sonny's a safe dude, man.
I went through a whole shift. I was so heavy in the Bhangra scene. I was so
you were there, music. Man. Yeah.
I wanted to be the face of every party and whatnot.
Yeah.
And then, so it was a Juggy D party that we did, I think at it
was upstairs.
Suite 106.
Suite 106, yeah.
That bar, Suite 106.
Yeah.
It wasn't the best turnout.
It wasn't the worst either.
But it wasn't the worst.
Yeah,
it was okay.
Yeah.
But it was that was 11 years ago.
Dude, that's crazy.
Yeah, at least 11 years ago.
Yeah.
But it's crazy to talk about how you change as a person, because I was so heavy because of my environment.
Yeah.
People you surround yourself with. When I came to Toronto,
it
was when I guess my circle of friends kind of changed, and I got into house music. And now I'm back heavy into hip hop. Hip hop's always been my passion.
I see that with the Wu-Tang shirt. Classic, man.
So, I'm heavy back into hip hop, and congratulations to you, man. The big reason why we're here today.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much. Bro. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Toshi.
Demo Tapes.
Demo
Dropped
Tapes.
The project.
Yeah, came out last Sunday. So, yeah, man, it's crazy, man. It's crazy to think that I've been doing this since 2000. It's 2021.
Yeah, man. You're a veteran in the industry.
It's crazy, right? And it's you would think, we're still relatively young, right? So it's the fact that I always say this to people without even trying to sound conceited is because this is the first time, it's almost like hip hop too, in the sense where this is the first time we're watching hip hop age, and this is the first time we're watching urban desi age.
Yeah.
Right? So it's when me and Roach came out, we kind of pioneered the Toronto urban desi sound. And I guess for this time, this is what a career as an urban desi artist looks like.
Yeah.
So this is what it looks like. You have your extreme highs, you have your valleys, you have your peaks, but that's what it is to live a life as an artist.
Yeah. Well, I think one of the big things is like, you know, I listen to the tape.
Oh, thank
Documents,
you, man.
one of probably my favorite track.
Thank you, brother. Thank you.
It's crazy because sometimes people feel like, you know, you've been in the game for so long and it's like the game has changed so much, right? And the one thing that, you know, I loved about even the way you rap is the lyricism. You know, at the end of the day, that's why hip hop is always been about that, right?
Yeah.
You know, there was criticism a couple of years ago about this concept of mumble rap and all that.
Yeah.
And the rap game has changed.
Definitely.
But I think the way you kind of have to shift your ego aside is where you got to embrace everything and still stay true to what you are and how you do your music, right?
100%. Yeah. You know what's so crazy, man? So it's like, I like hearing people's viewpoints on it. So just to give you some context of what's been going on, right?
Yeah.
So
fill me in. It's been almost 10 years.
So, I mean, I'll start with demo tapes and then we can work our way back, right? So I'm an avid motorcycle rider, like nuts. Like I've been riding for over 10 years. I'm really good on it.
What do you
I had a Gixxer, right?
Yeah.
So, and Roach got me into it, and Roach had a Honda CBR. So Roach had a Honda CBR 600. I got a Gixxer 600, and we started riding maybe back in 2008, 2009,
right,
consistently. And then in November, so I put my bike away in October because it starts to get cold in Canada, obviously.
Yeah.
In November, just like the first week in November, there was like a flash of like a heat wave. I put my bike away. My boy messaged me and he's like, yo, listen, man, I know we put our bikes away, but it's like 20 degrees outside. Let's ride. And I'm thinking to myself, man, I've already put my bike away. He's like, come on, man. We'll go down by Yonge and Dundas. We'll go hang out. We'll come back. It was a weeknight. It was Thursday, November 5th. So I told myself, you know what? I've been sitting at home quarantined all day, not really going anywhere, working from home. Let me go do a quick ride around and come back. I thought to myself, I'll be back within 2 hours. Dude, I didn't come home for 3 months. I was hospitalized. I got in a major accident on the Gardner.
Yeah.
So I was going down the Gardner right around Strawn. You know where Strawn is, right? Right by the C&E. And it's suspended over the city at that point, right?
Yeah.
And if you know the Gardner, which you probably do, there's no shoulder. There's
nothing. Yeah.
It's just the cement cinder blocks dividing oncoming and going traffic.
Yeah.
So I was in the center lane. A car in the right lane, SUV, cut me without indicating, without checking their blind spot, cut me off. So I quickly looked left, and luckily there was nobody in the fast lane. So I dropped the clutch and I shifted into the fast lanes. But I'm accelerating going into the fast lane.
Right.
But this guy came across into the third lane as well. So he cut across all 3 lanes of the QEW without checking his blind spot or indicating.
Yeah.
And then I think he realized I was there last minute and he slammed on his brakes. Fuck. So you can imagine when you're on a motorcycle doing over 100 kilometers an hour and somebody just slams on the brakes right in front of you.
Yeah.
I had a millisecond to literally decide, like, okay, I can't, if I do nothing, I'm going to go slamming into the back of this guy's SUV and probably kill myself. Mm-hmm. I can't go into the shoulder because there is no shoulder. So I'm going to hit the cinder block and probably go flying into oncoming traffic. Or I have to slam on my brakes.
Yeah.
But anyone who's ridden a mountain bike, if you're riding really fast and you slam on your brakes, what happens? You go flying over. I slammed on my brakes. The last thing I remember is the entire back of the Gixxer going up over my head, and it started doing somersaults while I was on it.
Holy fuck.
On the highway. And I hit the ground so hard it knocked me out. And
did you hit the SUV or
no? Because that guy took off.
Right.
So, but I don't even remember that though, right? Because like the last thing I remember is just thinking in my head. The only thing that went through my head was I saw my tire going up over my head, and I thought to myself, "Oh fuck!" And it started spinning, and I eventually hit the ground, and I hit it so hard, even with the helmet on, and knocked me out. And I was rolling so violently down the QEW that it woke me up. The rolling, it woke me up out of being knocked out.
Wow!
But I couldn't see anything, like, because I was rolling so fast. And I remember thinking to myself, "Oh fuck, is this the way it ends? Like this is the way it ends, man. Like this is the Blitz story. This is the Tony story." And I don't know how, man. By the grace of God, nobody ran me over.
Yeah,
I didn't go flying into like a light pole and break my back, but I stopped. And my buddy was with me at the time, and he kind of blocked off traffic.
Was it just the two of you? Or was
it was just the two of us. Yeah. He blocked off traffic, luckily. And he ran over And people got out of their cars and everyone's running up to me going, don't move, don't move. Because they're probably afraid I've broken my spine or something at that. But they don't want me to get paralyzed. So, but the crazy thing is while I was laying there, I noticed nobody was making eye contact with me.
Okay.
Everybody kept looking at my leg.
Did you feel anything at that time?
My body was in shock. Okay. But like I felt like I'd taken a bad fall, but like I didn't feel anything more than that at the time. And everyone kept looking at my leg as they were coming up, you know, seeing if I was okay. Nobody would look at me in the eyes. They kept looking at me in the leg. And at that point I knew, I'm like, something's wrong with my fucking leg. Fuck. Why is everybody looking at my leg? But I can't get up. I can't physically get up and look at it. Right. So the ambulance came. They tried to pick me up. And that's when I started feeling it. When they tried to pick me up, I had a severe brain concussion from hitting the ground so hard. So everything was like extra dizzy. I felt like confused. They rushed me to St. Mike's Hospital. When I got to St. Mike's, it was like the movies, man. They burst you through the doors. They got the scissors. There's like a million people working on you at the same time, cutting all your clothes off, which is like embarrassing when there's like hot brown girl nurses, right? You're like, yo, chill. Right?
But were you coming in and out? Like that's, first of all, sorry to hear, man. I had no
thanks,
idea.
Man. No. I didn't really tell anyone. So what happened was, they came to me after and they're like, well, dude, we got to perform emergency surgery on you because my entire ankle had snapped and come out of my skin.
Fuck.
And my shoulder, I don't know if you can't see it because I'm wearing a baggy shirt, but there's a bone that's protruding from here forever. Like it's not going to go back. Right. So they're like, man, time is of the essence because your bone is exposed. We don't want you to get an infection. That could get really bad. Right. They performed surgery and FYI, now when they perform surgery on your lower ligaments, they don't put you to sleep. So that in itself is
Were you awake?
I was awake, man. And they were screwing like screws and like bolts into my leg.
Wow.
I mean, they obviously numb it.
Yeah.
But I mean, bro, like the anxiety is going through you like, holy shit, right?
Holy shit.
So, you know, this happens. And because I've torn all the muscles and the ligaments in my shoulder, they can't give me crutches and say go home because I can't even lift my arm up. And anytime I even move my eyes, like it was severe dizziness because of the concussion. So I didn't even know this existed, but they have long-term care facilities in Toronto, which are for young people like us that have gotten in accidents or some kind of trauma and you can't go home because unless you're in palliative care or something, they can't keep you in a hospital for a long period of time. I think like the window is like 7 days. And after that 7 days up, it's like, dude, you either need to go home or if you physically can't go home, we're going to have to send you to this long-term care hospital.
But it probably felt so unreal, like surreal. Bro, like, is this even happening? Like it was
so surreal. And because of COVID, nobody could come visit me.
How long ago was this?
This is November 5th. I got in an accident November 5th.
Well, God, like, you know.
Yeah, I mean, he's been there with me the whole way. He used to come to. So, you know where the Don Jail is?
Yeah.
So, right beside the Don Jail, you can see it off the DVP. There's this huge building where Riverdale Park is. Right. I didn't know what it was. It's a long-term care facility.
Right. I had no idea. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. And I was there, bro. Wow. I was there from November to February. Like it was like, or like late January.
With God's grace, you're looking good, man.
I mean, I'm still limping though, bro. Like you can't see it because we just quickly came. But like, I'll show you my foot after. It's all fucked. But like,
how long were you there for?
Yeah, like for like, Toshi, like almost 3 months. Yeah.
At least.
So I was there and it was bad because I was bedridden, bro. Like I couldn't even get up. Yeah. So, you know what I mean? I couldn't even get up to piss. So literally imagine yourself in a place where no one's allowed to, my mother didn't even see me for 3 months because of COVID restrictions. So you're in this place by yourself. You physically can't even get up and go for a walk if you wanted to. So I laid in a hospital bed for 3 months just staring at the wall. And really that's where Demo Tapes was birthed from because I mean, I have nothing better to do all day other than just look at Instagram.
First of all, let's take a second to acknowledge that. That's incredible, man. I had no idea.
I mean,
I was in an accident when I was younger, and I can only imagine I was bedridden for almost 6 months. But I was like thinking about it now. I can't help but think about it when I was a boy. I can only imagine what it was to be a grown adult, to be not able to move.
It's crazy,
it's
man.
It's such a psychological warfare too at the same time.
Well, first and foremost, man, you know, thank God you're okay, right? I mean, that's
a long time ago.
But to even be a little boy, to be bedridden for 6 months, people don't understand. I understand what that's like, but not many people understand what being bedridden is like, right?
Like putting your feet on the ground for the first time, it's like, whoa, I never realized that walking is this fucking hard.
Yeah, right? I went from being bedridden to being in a wheelchair. And finally, at that point, when I finally got in a wheelchair, is when Santosh and Pinder and like my really, really good friends, like people I consider my brothers, would come to the hospital, drive up front where the Don jail is, and I would have to get pushed out in a wheel. Like I would get brought downstairs, and because nobody's allowed in, I would put a blanket on myself, make it out the doors, and then they would come get me from the doors, pull me into their cars, pick me up, put me in their car, or like help me. And I would have to sit there, and we would like kind of shoot the shit for like 15, but just to have that normalcy, you know? But that was my life. And I went to a wheelchair to a walker to crutches. And now, as you can see, like I'm walking around. Yeah. But I was like a very avid runner. Like anyone that knows me, I was running half marathons. Like a 5K was a joke for me, right? Yeah. But to be that active, and then all of a sudden I can't run anymore right now, right? Yeah. Like I have metal in my leg that doesn't allow it to bend like the way it used to. I noticed the difference. Yeah. You know, my mom always jokes, she's like, well, you always had a limp, but like at least now you have a reason. It's not just swag, right? Way to look at it. Yeah, right? But I mean, with God's good graces, like I'm working every day. I'm going to physio multiple times a week. Yeah. Man, I had to learn how to walk again. Like, you know, in the movies, you see the people holding those two things. Yeah. So you probably didn't get a chance, but if you go on my Instagram, I actually finally, so I kept this a secret. And when I was in the hospital, I was like, just kind of looking at Instagram, and I was looking at all these guys just like sitting in their car, freestyling on a beat. And I was like, number one, I'm lyrically better than 90% of these guys. Number two, the production quality is horrendous. Yeah. I got a professional video team. I got audio engineers that are my friends, right? I'm like, fuck this. When I get out, and as soon as I'm able to not even stand up, like when I started filming, ask him, I was sitting down on a stool. Yeah. I started releasing a professionally produced video freestyle every week. And now I'm 18 weeks into it. And you've been dropping that regularly? Every Sunday at 11 a.m. Eastern time. Dope, man. Yeah. So yeah, if you go on my Instagram, at BlitzMusic1, you'll see it. I've just been going, and you'll see the progress. How initially when I started, it was just me and Santosh. Literally, I was sitting on a stool, and he was next to me playing drums. Yeah. And that went on for a couple of weeks, and then it just went to now, like I'm, you know, then it went to me standing up and not really moving around. Yeah. And now I'm moving around. But what led to demo tapes was every song on demo tapes. A little secret, every song on demo tapes was recorded between 2003 and 2010. It's just unreleased. It's all unreleased. I have so much to the point where I haven't even mixed or mastered them again. These are the original files that I recorded and were just sitting on my hard drive. Yeah. And I recorded 3 albums worth of material. Okay? New material since I came out of the hospital. Right. And I have it sitting there. And that's not released yet. That's not released. But how many songs do you think you have in total? Unreleased? In your vault, yeah. That I'm willing to release, or just sitting on my hard drive? Just if you could pick a number, like I'm sure it's in the thousands. Probably, man. Because like I don't, like anybody that knows me, like this is what I find fun, you know? Like I don't really, you'll catch me in a club here and there, like how you saw me at CC Lounge or whatever. But like this has been my idea of fun since I was 12 years old. Right. So from 12, you know, like till now, it's just like, dude, like this is all I do, you know? But I came out of the hospital. I recorded 3 albums worth of new material. But I thought to myself, man, I got bangers just sitting around that people always ask me about. So half of these songs are songs that people have heard. Yeah. Like Hit Pass was a song that got, that's a great track too. Thank you very much. That's a big track. Yeah, that song is actually from the year. That's definitely a track that when I do the hit, I ain't passing, but I listen to that. What's funny is, man, so that song and the other song Exclusive on the album, that's what really got us known. So Hit Pass, I recorded in 2002, and it just blew up when I was in high school. Like blew up. It made me. What high school did you go to? Meadowville, yeah. So it like Meadowville, Streetsville, John Fraser, Arundel are like all around each other. So like if you're brown and you're around the same age, that's by Square One, right? No. It's like it's like 401 Winston Churchill.
Okay.
It's like far West End, right? Like the end of Saga.
Right.
So anybody that's brown that is around the same age group and has gone to one of those schools, we all know each other, right? So as soon as I made Hit Pass, I became instantly like a D-list celebrity in Winston Churchill, right? But I mean, it blew me up. And that's what got me on the BBC, and that's what got Punjabi MC's attention. So Punjabi MC heard my demo and played it in the UK.
Okay. So this is 2003.
2002, 2003. So he heard it, and dude, things went bananas after that, because he had a big platform. He had his own radio show, and he took my 6-song demo, and he's just like, at that time, I've never heard a Punjabi guy rap like this.
Right.
Because he doesn't sound Punjabi. Like, he just sounds like a regular dude that can rap good. Yeah. So
Indian music.
Indian music. Well, no, I wasn't even on Indian music. It was like these tracks, Hit Pass and stuff. That's what got to him. And then Exclusive, they played, and Universal Music heard it in the UK. Yeah. Picture this, okay? I'm in high school. The conversion rate from British pounds to Canadian dollars is 2.3 at the time. Right. Exclusive is being played on the BBC by the biggest DJs in the UK. Universal Music and Def Jam hear it in the UK.
Holy shit.
Like Gore, right? Like white people. Track me down, message me, and they're like, bro, we want to license this track. I don't even know what licensing is. I'm like, okay, like how much?
How old were you at this time?
It's probably like 18.
18?
Yeah.
Holy shit, that's a lot to deal with.
18, right? 18, 19, right? So I'm like, okay. So what they do is they're like, okay, we're going to pay you a couple £1,000. But now imagine you're 18 years old. Let's just say you get paid £3,000, but the conversion rate is 2.3.
Yeah.
So you've just made like 8-9 grand at the age of 18. You're rich, right? Like, I mean, for an 18-year-old, like, 10 grand, you're the
back then though.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
back then. Now you give me 10 grand now, I'm going to be like, yo, I'm rich, right? But, so that's really what happened is they started playing my music. Yeah. And I don't have any family or friends in the UK.
Right.
But I've always had a hustle mentality that can be matched by none, especially when it comes to, well, at least when it comes to music. So I thought to myself, you know what?
When you were in high school, Tony, is that in your mindset at that time? What did you want to do with your life? Is a rap career something that you always thought about?
I mean, there's so many.
Or was there something else?
No. So basically, what happened was, bro, is like when you come from like, I don't even know how to say it. Like, I guess like a broken household almost, right? Like typical, like a lot of us, like. It's funny because me and Santosh talk about this all the time, and this is why me, Santosh, or Roach, a lot of us get along, is because we come from the same type of households where it's abusive, it's low income. We didn't grow up in the projects like Regent Park, but like we're not the type of kids whose dad gives them like $100 grand for a down payment for a house, right? So
there's no generational wealth.
There's nothing, right? And education is not respected, right? So when that happened, I didn't even know it. I wasn't even thinking that far. I didn't even know how to study. I never studied a day in my life. I just didn't care. And essentially what happened was one of my best friends, Robbie Gutterwell, he's actually the one who named me Blitzkrieg. He got killed in a drug deal gone bad. Shit. So we were running around my area. Yeah, it's okay, brother. We were running around my area causing a lot of shit. And you build a reputation for yourself, right? Like, yo, you want to be a badass? Everyone's going to know you're a badass, right? And that's not always a good thing, because what ended up happening is, through mistaken identity, someone thought Robbie stole something, but he really didn't. Right. But the reputation was there that these guys probably did it.
It was likely probably him, yeah.
Because this is what these guys do. They rob people, right? So he got set up. And an older gentleman by the name of Doug Moore. You guys can Google this, Robbie Gutterwell, Mississauga. An older gentleman that was selling a lot of drugs in our area. He got robbed. His house got robbed for a bunch of coke. And he was trying to figure out who did it. And the guy who actually did it was somebody he knew. And the guy who did it turned around and said, you know what, it's probably Robbie and those guys, because they rob everybody. Right. And the guy believed it. So one day he called Robbie up and said, hey, man, why don't you come over? I want to buy X amount of weed off you or X amount of coke off you or whatever. Yeah. Robbie went there and never walked out of that house. Robbie and my other friend, Joe. So Joe was a friend of mine, but Robbie was like my cousin. Like my dad and his dad were friends. Like he's my friend, but you know, when you're brown, it's like.
Both of them were killed?
Both of them were killed.
I know about the story.
Yeah.
I heard about this.
And they were, you know, like I'll touch on it now because it's been like 20 years, but the guy and the guy who blamed Robbie, who actually killed him, they actually like chopped them up and drove to Montreal and disposed of their bodies. So Robbie was missing for 6 months before we knew. And it was to the point where all of our reputations were so bad, to the point where even me, somebody who I considered him my best friend, I even thought maybe he didn't. He took off and he's just laying low for a bit. Like, you know, you have that little bit of hope in yourself. You're like, man, I hope, because it's so hard to fathom at a young age that, you know, your best friend or your cousin or whatever you want to call him is dead.
Yeah. The idea, the concept of death at that young age, especially if you haven't seen it happen in close family at all, it's like,
and it's not a natural death.
Not a natural death. It's like, it's probably not.
It's like, what the fuck? So I digress to that story basically just to say it wasn't until that happened where I thought to myself, man, Robbie was my biggest fan. He named me Blitzkrieg. He was my biggest fan. He always wanted me to do music. So it was at that point I had dropped out of school. Like, I mean, I had done school, but like I wasn't really going to college or university. And I was working night shift at the Walmart warehouse packing trailers. I just thought to myself, yo, man, like Robbie died. And it was at that point where I was like, nah, man, like if I'm not going to hustle for myself, I need to at least hustle for this man's memory, right?
Absolutely.
So I packed my backpack up. I filled it with 1,000 mix CDs. I flew to England. I don't know anyone there. I had 2 people's phone numbers. 3 people. I had Punjabi Hit Squad's phone number because they were playing my music. Billy Grant, which owned 2.9 Records, which is Jay Sean and Rishi Rich's label. And Nihal from the Bobby Friction Nihal show. Yeah. So I was like, look, they had already guaranteed me, yo, if you fly down to England, we'll put you on our shows. And Billy Grant was like, yeah, I'll get you a studio session with Rishi and them if you're going to fly down to England.
Right.
So we went there. We went to Leicester Square, which is like their version of Yonge and Dundas. And we stood in front of the Burger King and we told ourselves, listen, we're going to freestyle battle every motherfucker that walks by and sell our CD for £1 because it cost me $1 to make the CD. But if I sell it for £1 and the conversion rate's 2.3, I'm making $2.30. So I'm making $1.30 profit on every CD I sell, right?
Yeah, and you're getting your name out there.
Exactly. So we freestyle battled and we wouldn't eat until we sold at least 100 every day.
Right.
And within the week, we sold 1,000. And that just impressed the BBC and Rishi and all these guys so much. They're like, yo, there's some fucking kids from Canada. Like, and back then, we looked like Dipset, right? Like that, like Joel Santana, like the triple X jerseys down to our knees, big white tees. But we're like,
low jeans.
Yeah.
And it's crazy to think back then because there was no social media.
Nothing.
And we'll get to this in the later part of the podcast, but it's like, back then, there was no social media. You just had to be on the streets, grind it out.
It was word of mouth.
Word of mouth. And, either people like your shit or they don't. Right?
Like, think about that, right? Without social media, a kid from Mississauga, Ontario became extremely known around the world in the urban Desi music scene, right? In the urban indie music scene. Without social media, how is that possible?
Yeah.
It's just hand to hand. Like, people must have just thought your music was good and just handed in, DJs will play it. And like, I don't even know, man. Like the journey's been so crazy just because of word of mouth. But
you let your emotions motivate you.
Yeah.
And then you're willing to take that risk.
100%.
And that's the difference between a lot of people that are living their life right now and are just sitting behind a computer saying, fuck, I could have done better. I could have done more.
Yeah.
Or most importantly, I could have done something that I enjoy doing.
And you know what the thing is I've also realized that success, there's no definition. There's no real solid definition of success. Success is what the individual perceives it to be.
Absolutely.
So, hey, your idea of success might be, not saying it is, but right, like your idea of success might be, by X amount of age, I need to have X amount of dollars and X amount of, assets to my name. Wherefore, an artist, like a true artist idea of success may be, man, I'm already successful. Like I may be living hand to mouth, but fuck, man, like I've traveled the world. My name is known everywhere. Look, everything I've done. Like
Think about all the people you've met.
Bro, right? I missed my university commencement. I'm the first one in my family.
Where'd you go?
Ryerson.
Ryerson? Okay.
Yeah. I missed my university commencement. Yeah. I'm the first one in my family to ever graduate high school, to ever go to university. Yeah. And I missed it because me and Roach were headlining a show in London, UK. Yeah. And I have it on footage where I'm just holding the mic out and I got thousands of people just singing the lyrics to my songs. And I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. I can live without that commencement. You know?
Bro, I didn't. My diploma was on hold for years at York.
You didn't go?
My York students said no. I had parking tickets. I had a shitload, thousands of dollars in parking tickets.
You just didn't pay it?
I didn't pay it. Yeah, I actually got my diploma, but I was like, they held on to it for a little bit.
That's hilarious. But it's weird, right? So it's like, just picking up on what I was saying, like, man, from there, we just started growing. We started growing. The next thing I know, like the opportunities got bigger and bigger. Sorry. We got the opportunity to perform at Glastonbury. Glastonbury is Europe's version of Woodstock. Okay. So hundreds of thousands.
Where is that? Is that Scotland?
It's in England.
It's in England. Okay.
South of Stonehenge. Okay. So it's like in the middle of the farm fields in rural England. Hundreds of thousands of people for 3 days get together. And Coldplay was headlining the year we performed. But we're like performing on the same stage these guys are playing on, right? Crazy, yeah. And like, bro, it was like crazy. Like the total Woodstock experience. Like we rented like a bus, got there. We had to buy rain boots and walk through like fields of mud just to get to the stage. 20? Yeah, I was like 21 at the time.
Crazy, bro.
So
that's
I'm
crazy.
like, what the fuck? Yeah. And yo, you see Coldplay backstage, and then like on the way home, we stopped and we all like watched the sunrise at Stonehenge. Mm-hmm. Like, yo, these are things that you can't buy with money. Like, yo, I just performed with Coldplay. I'm watching the sunrise at fucking Stonehenge. I'm fucking 20 years old. Like, what the fuck is going on, right? Yeah. But just because of that, and then Bobby E=MC is actually from Toronto too. Yeah, okay. And he's from Brampton. I
didn't know that. Really?
Yeah. Okay. So if you realistically break it down, he's really the first one that broke the barrier of they see guys from Toronto going to the UK and making a name for themselves. Right. Because Manj from RDB had married Nindi, who's from here. Okay. Then Manj had moved here. And while Manj had moved here to Brampton, because Nindi's originally from Brampton, I think, he was looking for artists. And I don't know how E=MC came across his radar. They hooked up. And then Bobby moved to England to launch his first album with Mahi Ve Mahi and Teri Meri, all them tunes, right? Yeah, yeah. Classics. Yeah. So he was living in Leicester. So when we were going back and forth from UK, somehow we linked up through mutual friends. But he was like, man, anytime you come out here, just come stay with me. So we started going and staying with him. Yeah. And then, Tiger Style just saw my grind.
Tiger Style. Yeah. Bro, I haven't heard of that group in years.
Tiger Style saw the grind. Yeah. And they were like, man, you know what? You're surrounded by a bunch of dope rappers. Mm-hmm. But you're the one that stands out because, when talent doesn't work hard work trumps talent, right? Absolutely. So I may not have been the best rapper between all my friends, but they were just like, man, you keep coming back here every 6 months and just battling everybody in the streets. Fuck it, we're getting you a deal, bro. Yeah. We're signing you. Yeah. So they signed me to VIP Records, and me and Roach went out there, and we just lived there. Who else was
on VIP Records?
JK was on. Okay. I think True School was on.
True School was on. Okay.
I think he was on VIP Records. Bikram Singh, Gunjan.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, that was like that whole
back
wave.
Then, that was all those names. Yeah.
Jags Climax, all those guys, right? So I mean, but it was crazy. We went and we literally dominated the UK. Yeah, like my album was the first album by a rapper. I was the first rapper to ever be signed by a UK Bhangra label, right? And then release an English rapping album. The only person that's done it back then was Bohemia. But Bohemia Raps,
I feel like that was a little bit later than you, or
I think it was like around the same time, within a year or so. Mm-hmm. But Bohemia raps completely in Punjabi. That's his own lane. Yeah. I at the time I didn't rap in Punjabi at all. Right. So then my song started hitting the top of the charts on BBC. Started getting booked for shows. Me and Roach we're performing like at the UK Melas, which are like the summer festivals. Mm-hmm. Bro, you have 10, 20,000 people singing the lyrics to your songs. And it was just so surreal because during this time I was going to Ryerson. Right. So between semesters I would go, or like the summer from April to September I'd be in England. Yeah. But it was so surreal because, you know, the city, even now to like a certain point where like, yo, Drake's there and Drake's helped. This is before the days of Drake.
Yeah.
Drake's helped the city, but bro, Desis from our city just hate on each other so fucking much. Like,
I feel like they still do.
Of course they still do.
I feel like if
of course
not,
they
it's
still do.
amplified now. But.
And it's like, bro, it's like me and Roach's favorite saying is like, you know, have you watched Gladiator?
Of course.
You know when Russell Crowe's in the ring and he's like, "Are you not entertained?"
Yeah.
I'm like, motherfuckers, are you not entertained yet? Like, what will it take to win your support?
Yeah.
I've fucking gotten deals, been making money for 20 years, had tens and 20s of thousands of people singing my songs. I have video. If you go on YouTube, I'm not talking shit. It's all there, right? Yeah. It's all there. Everything's documented. Done Bollywood movies. I just did Gully Boy, which was like the only Indian North American rapping artist on Gully Boy.
Yeah.
The fucking thing was nominated for like...
The resume speaks for itself, right?
Exactly, right? So it's just like, but yo, have you ever heard my songs on Flow? No. You know, Ricochet is a brown guy, right? Who heads fucking Made in T.O. every night.
Seriously.
From 10 to 12 a.m.
Okay.
Yo, who are you? Like, what?
Yeah.
Like, I don't get it. Are you trying to... There's no way somebody could tell me at this point... I know I reference Roach a lot because like me and him are so tight and we have the exact same story that I feel he is me and I am him, right? So I speak for both of us a lot of the time, but are you trying to... There's no way somebody can look me in the face and say, you guys aren't good.
Yeah.
Because, okay, if we weren't good, we would have been gone and...
You wouldn't still be doing what you're doing.
Still wouldn't be doing... Good, right? It would have been like, okay, cool, he released a couple of mixtapes, it's over.
If anything, you dropping this tape shows that I'm still relevant.
Still relevant. You know? And this is my old shit.
Yeah.
This is shit I recorded from 2000. So this song...
I wouldn't have been able to tell that. Man.
Everyone says that. You know, 600cc's playlisted on multiple BBC stations right now. Yeah. Playlisted by Spotify India. Like all over the place. This is my third interview I've done today.
Okay.
So it's like, you know... So and this is what I'm laughing about is this is my old shit.
Yeah.
Wait till you hear my new shit. I have 3 albums worth of brand new shit.
Sick.
So it's interesting, bro. It's like Toronto's always been one of those places where you have to leave to get Toronto support.
That was going to be my next question, actually. So it's good that you touched on it because I was thinking about this. You know, we have, you know, guys like, for example, Pressa as an example, you know, going to LA. A lot of rappers now are heading over to LA because Toronto has become such a shit show in terms of it being so saturated.
Right.
Social media now has even amplified that.
Of course.
10 times more because it's hard to stick out to the extent where, you know, I have an observation where even if you're not if you're not involved in the politics, you're not going to make it, you know?
No.
So these guys have moved to the West Coast, moved to LA, and you can see like the Toronto brand is there.
Yeah.
But people that appreciate and support you and fuck with you aren't from Toronto. They're from other places, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like it's been this Toronto curse that's been around for so long. You know, it's hard. I don't know what it is. What do you...
Even Drake, right? Drake is arguably, I say this all the time, and I talk to Santosh about it. Drake is our generation's version of Michael Jackson.
Absolutely.
He's the biggest artist in the world.
Yeah.
He got the Lifetime Achievement Award by Billboard because he's actually won more Billboard awards than Michael Jackson or the Beatles or Elvis. Like, period. Like, numbers don't lie, right?
Yeah. I thought he beat the Beatles.
Yeah, he did. I'm saying more, right? Like, he's broken their records. So it takes that stature. It took that stature of an artist to literally put Toronto on the map.
Now, if you look at Drake's early career when he first started, everyone hated Pretty Boy Drake, right? It was one of those things. And like, you know, if you look into the story of like Chubbs and how they all know each other, it was like them collaborating and coming together that really kind of gave, let's say, Drake the street cred.
Right.
But he figured out the system. He figured out what he needed to do.
Yeah.
To the point where he's not just a musician. He's an artist, man. I think he's a marketing genius.
He's a genius, period.
Because every track that he's dropped so far, he's kind of figured out that it's not just the music, but there's so many other pieces,
facets.
Right?
Yeah. So, you know, and that's essentially it. It took somebody of that stature to literally put Toronto on the map. It took the biggest artist of our generation to outdo the Beatles to put Toronto on the map.
Crazy.
Like, fuck, man. And, you know, obviously The Weeknd is, phenomenal.
Yeah, and it's just like you got Daniel Caesar.
Yeah, of course.
But that came after. Before it was really the Cardinal, Choclair,
And those guys were amazing. Those guys raised us,
Shaka
right?
Khan, yeah.
Monolith, like all those guys, right?
Yeah.
But
and you got like the Scarborough guys, Genghis Khan.
Yeah. So, but that's really what it takes, man. In Toronto is like, I don't really know what it is. If I had the answer, I'd crack the code.
Yeah.
But it is like a bit like weird in the sense where it's like, come on, man. Like, I don't get it. But it also gets to the point where after a while, you don't even give a fuck, which is sad because it's like, okay, bro, you're not going to play my song on Flow. I'm playlisted on like 7 BBC stations on the UK. And I've just did 17 dates over one summer headlining their festivals with 10,000 people in the crowd singing my song.
Yeah.
I'm a fucking celebrity out there.
You're certified.
Yeah, I'm certified. Validated. Cool. Fuck you. Keep your flow. Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? It turns to the point where you're almost just like, I don't want to come do your show at fucking, Joker nightclub or whatever the fuck was popping back then, right? It's like, government nightclub or whatever the fuck was big. You're just like, fuck it, I'm good.
And today, man, like Tony, like one thing, like radio used to run the shit back then.
Yeah.
But fuck, who listens to radio today,
I mean, that's also a good thing and a bad thing, right?
Could be, yeah.
It's funny because while I've been doing the press tour for demo tapes, I've learned a lot. And a lot of people, so that statement, a lot of people think that, who needs radio anymore, right? But there's so many people that you'd be surprised that aren't in touch with social media or with the Spotify or the Apple Music or the Google Play. I have people, like now that I'm doing the press tour and I've incorporated like a PR team that's got me like doing the rounds of UK radio. A lot of the radio hosts are like, Blitz is back. Where you been? And I'm like, motherfucker, I was just on the Gully Boys soundtrack. We were like nominated for an Oscar. Like, how do you not like? Are you dumb? Are you not on Twitter or Instagram? But they're not. So it's, the world is moving at such a fast pace. It's impossible to touch everyone and cover everyone. But so you kind of do need all facets.
That's true.
Yes, it's important to focus on the Spotify playlist and the YouTube and the Instagram and the Twitter, but you also still need to go out because there's a large population, as I'm learning, of people that are still just terrestrial radio and TV. Yeah. And if you're not on those mediums, they're like, who are you?
Audience,
right?
So, Tony, you've been in the game for what, 20 years almost, 20 plus. As a South Asian rapper, what was your like biggest challenge like over the course of the last 20 years?
A couple things. Like, I mean, number one, you're in the middle where Indian people think, oh, you're trying to be black. And then, like the urban culture, at least at that time, and, it's changing every day now, but like, the urban culture wasn't really trying to hear an Indian rapper. You know what I mean? Till this day, even like, how many are you trying to tell me there's no good Indian rappers? Like, till this day, how many Indian rappers do you really see on like, any of these big sites or any of the local radio stations? Yeah. Like, you don't, right? So you're damned if the Indian people are like shunning you because they're like, you're not desi enough. And then the urban crowd's like saying, yo, man, you're not black. You're not black, or you're not Latino, or like what the fuck are you?
Yeah.
So that was a huge hurdle, and then like the other hurdle is like when you've been quote unquote winning for so long, you're raising the bar for yourself so high that you're competing with yourself. You're competing with your last success. So back in the day, if I was on the BBC, all my friends, my entire neighborhood be going crazy. Like, yo, Blitz is on the BBC, but now it's like, I tell people, I'm like, yo, I'm on the BBC. And they're like, fam, you've been on the BBC for 20 years. Like, cool. Like, call me when you're done and we'll go hang out, right? Like, this is like shit, man. Like, at this point, me and Roach laugh. Like, we would literally need to do a song with Drake for somebody to be like, yo, you guys did something. Like, the last time I received like a surprising, like, wow, like, pat on the back was being on Gully Boy.
Yeah.
But that was like literally the biggest Bollywood that broke every Bollywood movie record since Kuch Kuch Hota Hai.
Right.
That's how big it took. You know what I mean?
To get to break to set the bar even
set
higher.
the bar even higher.
Yeah.
Because okay, cool. Blitz and Roach hang out with Juggy D and Rishi Rich, and they're in that crowd. Those guys are their boys. Okay, yo, they're out in the UK performing at big festivals. Cool, but they've been doing that.
Yeah.
Like,
it's
do something. You know, show me something I haven't seen before.
So let me ask you: you see yourself collaborating with like other artists like that are not South Asian or?
Yeah, like I mean, I had Shot Clear. Like I brought him. Mm-hmm. So in 2011, in my second album, I had him on a song called "Can't Forget You," Dil Lagi, and I was the first Punjabi rapper to win a factor grant for the video. The government gave me 30 grand. Sick. And we shut down the street. So if you ever go on YouTube and put Blitzkrieg, Shot Clear, Can't Forget You, bro, like that, we shut down the streets of downtown Toronto. Me and him are driving around in back-to-back Camaros. Okay. Like it's till this day, it's a 10-year-old video, but till this day it still looks like a big budget thing, right? Yeah.
And for that time too, right?
Yeah, exactly. And like, so I took Shot Clear and he was bugging out because he's like, bro, like, you know, I was in England sending him like videos of like, look, your song's on TV. Yo, look, you're on the BBC. And he's just like, what the fuck? Like, who are you, bro? Like, you know? So, I mean, Shot Clear was a big deal back then. And I mean, yo, shout out to Shocks. Like, you can't take away what he's done.
I remember the days when even like, I just remembered Fat Man Scoop.
Come on.
Used to bring him to MC those formals.
Yeah, Baba Khan.
And even JD, like, so Harmon actually, with Prendus.
Oh, really?
Yeah, our parents, like, we still keep in contact, but like our parents are next door to each other.
Oh shit! Yeah, Harmon's one of my best friends. Yeah,
such a small world, but like I can't, like, back then, you know, you guys were like kind of the pioneers of the, you know, especially in our community of rapping. Imagine now, Tony, you were born in this era.
Yeah.
And you're still rapping. How do you see yourself? Like, how do you envision your career changing, or would it be accelerating even more, or would it become harder to break through the barriers?
I think it would be harder.
Yeah.
Like, it's easier to get your music out, but it's harder to get heard because, you know, the thing that really propelled my success and catapulted it was the fact that Punjabi MC he was just blown away by the fact that a Punjabi guy could rap like me. But now a lot of Indian guys can rap well, right? So it's like, what's really going to stand out? You know, just simply being Punjabi and rapping well was good enough back then to get catapulted into that scene. Now it's harder. Like, the entry barriers are lower to get into the business. However, it's so saturated and flooded, it's harder to get noticed. Because I forgot the statistic of how many songs are released every day on Spotify. Like, it's like,
it's
in the millions, probably.
And there's a whole process to get on these playlists.
Yeah.
Apparently now I was reading this article that they a lot of these curators for these playlists take money.
Yeah, that's exactly what they do.
You have to go through an agency, and then you have to drop some loot.
And that's the biggest hustle, right? Is like, and you can't really knock them, because before there was radio pluggers. People were like, yo, man, I'll send your song to radio programmers. But now instead of radio pluggers, it's guys like, yo, I know, you know, a bunch of guys that have huge followings on social media.
Right.
Pay me and I'll get them to plug your shit.
Yeah.
So that's just the future. But if the one thing is if I had social media back then, it would have been through the roof.
Yeah.
It would have been through the roof. Like, every day you guys would have been seeing stuff. Like, I went to the Playboy Mansion.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, I went to the Playboy Mansion, the Halloween party at the Playboy Mansion.
What year?
This is in 2010, I believe.
Sick.
Tiesto was there.
Yeah.
I was chilling next to Eve in the grotto. Yeah. Flow Rider was there.
Oh,
man, it was something to see. Like, how many other Punjabi? I mean, maybe there is, and they just haven't talked about it. But I ain't never heard of nobody else in the DC industry go to the Playboy Mansion. You know what I mean? Like, we got invited out there. So, you know, if I had social media back then, you guys would have seen all of this stuff I'm telling you about. I mean, I've taped as much of it as I could, but like, obviously, I didn't always have, like, the phone wasn't capable like it was now to take video, right? But
it's a good thing.
Yeah.
It's obviously a bad thing too, but it's a good thing too sometimes, I wonder, because I'm like, fuck, if my shit was documented back in the days.
Yeah. Exactly, right?
You know what I mean? Like, it's right now in our head. It's like memories. Oh, I did this. Yeah, but now, man, you pull out your phone and literally the first thing you might end up on Brownlee Road or
We would have. I have no doubt that we probably would have had close to like hundreds and hundreds of thousands of followers by now. Because I mean, how do you think our name got out there?
Right.
It's like without social media, hundreds and thousands of people knew about us.
Yeah.
So it's
crazy. It goes back full circle, right?
Yeah, it comes back full circle to when you're in the hospital bed
Mm-hmm.
and you're just sitting there and you're like, man, like the story ain't over, man. Like what
were you thinking? Like, what were some of the thoughts that like?
I just remember like the one thing that keeps replaying in my head, like not trauma, but it's not a nightmare. But what keeps playing in my head was me rolling on the ground. Like once I woke up from being like knocked out and I was rolling violently and just thinking like, yo, this is the way my story. Like I really thought I was like, yo, this is the way it ends.
Right.
Like all I was doing was waiting for an impact. I was like, okay, I'm uncontrollably rolling and flying. Like my limbs are going everywhere. Things are broken. Yeah. And I'm like, okay, at any minute now, when this does stop, it's going to be because I hit something or something hit me.
Yeah. And you know, you can't help but think like death is crazy because death is something that you can't anticipate. Yeah. You don't know when our expiry date is.
Don't know.
And for us, we think of death, we think it's like way down the road, right?
Yeah.
And when it happens, your whole life flashes in front of your eyes. It's
crazy.
Like you're, Stonehenge, those festivals, all of that. And it's like, fuck, wait, a motorcycle accident was literally the end of this story. And that's with that thought that like every day I carry, it's called stoicism, the concept. It's like you have to anticipate your death, and that's how you live accordingly. Doesn't mean you have to live like make money, make bread, live lavishly, but love, have relationships, keep in contact, ask the people that you like, keep connected with the people that are in your circle. And just, that's what it is, because we don't know, like the worst way to die is an accident. I feel like
it's the worst
because it's never expected.
I was like, I remember specifically, it rings in my head. I remember telling my family, because like when I left, it was like 5:30, and I remember like saying, "Yo, I'll be back in like 2 hours before dinner." I remember saying that, "Yo, I'm just going to Young and Dundas. I'll be back before dinner."
Yeah.
And I didn't come back for months. And it's like, because of everything that's happened, because of Robbie, because of this motorcycle accident, because of other things that happened in my life, I feel I do live that way. Mm-hmm. A lot of people don't understand the way I live, and it's because like, I find like, it's funny you just mentioned that, like in terms of staying in touch with people and whatever, you can ask Santosh, like, I'm always the guy that keeps our friend circle together. Mm-hmm. I'll always consistently keep reaching out to people. Like I'm always the one doing planning.
Like me the same, yeah.
I'm always planning everything. Yeah. They laugh. They're like, dude, you got everything planned. Like I'll come out and I'll have drinks, I'll have snacks, I'll know where we're going. Like I'll even like have like, if we're making, like if I brought wine, for example, I'm gonna have cut up fruit to make sangrias with it in like a cooler. People are like, who the fuck are you, bro? Like, but I'm that way because I realize how precious life is. Yeah. Right. And
that's what, your boys are they love you for that, and they're gonna remember you for that, right?
Hopefully,
because when the time comes that we all go,
yeah,
it's those conversations that is always gonna remain forever.
100%.
And so it's like, how do you wanna beef with someone? That's cool. But think about what are you really beefing over?
What do you really? It's so minuscule, and it's like another good thing. Like I've realized is there's such a thing as positive selfishness. I've realized over all the traumatic things I've been through that I'm gonna be selfish, and not in a bad way. I'm not gonna steal from no one. I'm not gonna cause harm to anyone. But this is what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And I'm going to do what I want, when I want to do it, how I want to do it, without hurting anyone, right? And you rolling? Cool. If you're not, that's also cool. But I'm doing me, homie. This train is leaving the station, and no matter what, it's going to go.
Yeah.
And I know sometimes being my friend or being my family member or whatever, I know that can get frustrating because, like, for example, with this motorcycle accident, my entire family, my brother, my mom, everyone's like crying, like, don't get back on a bike. And I'm like, I don't think you guys understand. I'm getting back on that bike. Like, this is what I love to do.
Right.
And obviously I'm going to be a bit, even though I did nothing wrong, I'll take even more precautions.
Right.
But I'm not living I've looked death in the face several times in my life. So because of that, the biggest thing you regret when it comes to your time to, seeing your fate is all the things that you wanted to do that you didn't end up doing.
Was that the biggest thing that changed your mindset? Like, what was there anything particular with this instant where you're like, you look at life differently?
No, because the one thing that it did make me change was I've started to cut a lot of people out.
Yeah.
A lot of people, because almost to a downfall, like how I was just mentioning a couple of seconds ago. I'm always that one just trying to keep relationships alive, keep them on a resuscitator, pumping the chest, giving them CPR. And what I realized is that I said in one of my recent freestyles, I go, when the phone stops ringing, nobody there. When the boy stops singing shit, nobody care. So all of a sudden you realize, like, oh, okay, when I'm not Blitz and I'm not that guy, the phone's not ringing. When, I was in the hospital for 4 months. How many people just stopped calling me? Because I realized, and then kind of when I'd see them again, once I got out of the hospital, they'd be like, well, I didn't know. I'm like, dude, you didn't know because you didn't call me in 4 months. Right. So what kind of friends are we? Why am I trying to keep you in my life if you didn't even... Is it on me to send you a text going, oh, FYI, I almost died. Like, yo, what's good this Friday? Like, no, it's... No, man. It's, it was these guys. It's not like I called and told them. Yeah. Pinder, Brandon, like Santos, the Roaches. Like, it was the guys who were just calling me several times a week anyways, just to be like, yo, what's good? Let's talk shit, Yeah. And in the cold, I'm using him as an example because he's here. But Santos he was like, man, I don't.
By the way, Santos, help yourself.
Yeah, please.
Because you're not driving, brother.
Yeah. As much as you can. People like Santos, you start valuing certain friends so much more because it was cold. He knew he couldn't come into the hospital. Yeah. Same thing with Pinder. But they're like, yo, you know what? We're going to drive up and sit outside. Even if you can't come out, at least you can see us through the fucking window, man.
That's love, man.
He was like, hey, man, I'll come just hack a butt on the other side of the window and you can sit on inside in your wheelchair and, we'll just like a what's up type thing. And I was like, man, these guys... They actually give a fuck. Yeah. And how many people, whether it's male, female, all age groups, like how many people just don't call?
Yeah. It's what you said right now, Tony, is like I totally relate to that because back in the days, it was always Sonny, what's popping on a Friday?
Because you were the club promoter, right?
Even after, I'm such a social guy, right? I love meeting people. And that's part of the big reason why I started this podcast. But this pandemic, I feel like everyone can relate. It's shortened the dinner table a little bit. And it's shortened the dinner table where it's like, if I had a choice of inviting 8 people at my dinner table, who am I going to invite? Who's going to eat with me?
Who's eating with me, right?
And like you look at Drake, for example, one of the reasons Drake is so successful, like guys like Pusha and all this other politics, there's so many opportunities for his downfall. Yeah. But he had a crew. And he had his crew was his crew. Everyone ate. If I'm a winner, you're a winner.
Everyone's a winner.
And it doesn't matter. You don't need to have 10 people in your crew. Even if you have 3 or 4 solid people that like literally are your boys, you win, I win. And you don't lean on each other, but instead you lift each other up. Yeah. That's huge. And I feel like COVID has really kind of opened everyone's eyes a little bit. But
it's so easy, Sonny, to get blinded by that when you're living a certain life in like when you've been quote unquote in the music game and like in the public eye in a certain way for so long, and on top of that you have a motorcycle. Yeah. Like, dude, picture this. You're a fucking young Punjabi guy, a music star in a certain scene, and you ride a fucking cool ass bike, bro. You're the fucking man. Yeah. Everywhere you go, in any like in any situation, you're the fucking man, right? Yeah. And you're so used to being the man, and so many people. Sometimes when you're a genuine, good-hearted person, you tend to forget that these people are matlabi, right? Like these people are only here because they're gonna get to hang with Juggy tonight, or whatever the case may be, right?
Hook up or something.
Yeah, and it's not, or even like if it's not with the music, it's like these people are talking to me. A very funny thing. Like I have no shame about it. Like, bro, I do well for myself, but I don't want to put myself in debt. I drive a fucking Honda Civic. You know what I'm saying?
But those Civics are great.
Though, first of all,
let's not downplay that.
No, bro, come on, man. The Civics are fucking amazing, bro. 400,000 clicks. I've never.
You don't get those kind of cars anymore.
No, you don't get those kind of cars no more, right? But what I find interesting as a social human experiment, when I drive around in the Civic, and I'm just Tony and you don't know I do music, yeah, nobody looks twice. When I show up in a bike somewhere, fucking anybody, the coolest dude, the hottest girls, whatever, everybody wants to talk. Everybody wants to be your boy. And that's music aside. Yeah. How many times have I been in a situation, not even cars included, I'll be in a situation, and if anyone ever meets me, I don't know if you remember or not, but I always introduce myself as Tony. Yeah. Until this day, I'll never be like, yo, Blitz. Yo, I'm Blitzkrieg. I'll be like, hey, man, nice to meet you, Tony. Yeah. And I've had people, I've had guys, I've had girls be like, oh, okay, cool. And literally circle back around and be like, oh, you didn't tell me you're Blitz, and they all start acting different. Right. In that specific scene, right? And I'm just like, man, like, shit is just so fake, and it's so easy to get caught up in that. And that was one of the main reasons why I had to move back to Toronto. Right. Because in England,
is it worse in England?
Bro, we were like their version of celebrities, right? Because they don't, at the time, it's probably different now, but they didn't go home and watch BET Rap City. They come home and watch Brit Asia. Yeah. Whose videos on constant rotation in Brit Asia? Juggies, Rishies, Mind, Roaches, like Rockstars, whoever's, right? So to them, all they hear on the radio and all they see on TV and in print magazine and at shows is us.
So you're a local celebrity.
We're the local celebrities, right? And it's so easy to get caught up in that. And you lose sight of reality of like, oh shit, this is not real life, man. This is a bubble.
We're about 59 episodes in. Yeah. And a couple, I think this was an early episode that a guest on. And, we talked about this, what you just mentioned right now. When we're younger, we want to be the most likable person in the room. We want to be liked by everybody. So sometimes we say shit just to agree for the sake of agreeing. But when you get older and you realize what, the true value of life, it's not whether, I don't care about you liking me. Yeah. The most important question is, do I like you? And when you if you start thinking like that, you move different. You will start moving different. You'll start interacting different. And I can't help, when I was in school, I always cared about being the most liked guy. Yeah. I always wanted to be the most popular guy. But it was always outside in, not inside out.
You know what's funny what you said though? So it's not I don't care if you don't like me. It's if I like you. Yeah. But another factor that is, do I even like myself? Yeah. In order for me to like you, I have to like myself and know who I am and realize what traits I admire in someone else. Absolutely. Yeah. And at that point, I can be like, yo, I really like myself because I'm a hard worker, X, Y, and Z. Yeah. And Sonny portrays those same traits, man. I like spending time with this guy. Yeah. I don't like spending time with X, Y, and Z because they're the complete contrast to what I like in an individual.
You can't be complaining about your life and shit not working. Yeah. And be like, man, I wish things were different if the people around you are doing the exact same thing that you don't want to do.
Exactly, right?
And doesn't mean that the people around you have to be exactly the same. Like, dude, I have the most diverse group of friends. Right. And it's like different circles. Right. I still keep in touch. I'll still pick up the phone and be like, yo, do you guys want to go golf? Yeah. Like, I'm learning how to golf now. I'm like, yo, I always wanted to learn. Yeah, of course. Let's do this. And then there's other friends that are, that make music too. And, they'll send me tracks and I'll listen to it. But it's like, it's coming from me now because I'm happy with where I am right now in life. You're happy like life. I have like, I look at life like, a couple of pillars, something that makes you money, right? Something that keeps you healthy, and then something like that makes you stay creative. And so podcasting is just my way of staying creative.
I think this is totally you, man. Like even the couple times we've met, like one of the main reasons I wanted to come today was, obviously we know each other, but the reason why we've kind of always known each other off and on is because, dude, like the conversation always just easily flows. Yeah, man. It's never been like, I met, just like you, we've met so many people out there, right? Yeah. And it's just like, how often is it that you go out and like, you just kind of like conversation just stops.
Like we connected after so many years and I'm like, fuck, let's do it.
Let's do it, man. When I saw you at a podcast, I was the one who reached out to you. I was like, Sonny, I'm coming. It's like, fuck it, man. Like, let's have a conversation.
People, like some people, because it's a separate account, sometimes they don't realize that it's the same dude. Yeah. And I'm like, fuck, the logo should be pretty obvious. It looks just like but man, but it's very true, bro. You got to be happy with who you are. And if you're not happy with yourself, like you have to start with that. Yeah. And then once you're satisfied with your accomplishments and the way your life's going and who you are as an individual, that you can start being selective with people. And that's kind of what I've started to do in terms of just bringing it full circle, like in terms of cutting people off. Like what this has taught me is I am happy with myself. I've always been happy with myself. And
now I'm starting to realize, oh shit, but I'm not like, these people don't actually give a shit about me.
Yeah.
You know, and everybody wants to be friends when you're that guy that's got a hook up somewhere, or you're that guy can help like get them in somewhere or help them talk to girls or do whatever. But you know, how many are really, really gonna be there for you?
So true.
And so I don't know. And even if like the rest of the 3 albums I got, like even if like they were to never come out, like I'm happy just creating music, man. I've already done it. Like this was just another reminder to me of, okay, released it, so, you know, playlisted everywhere, doing good.
No, but hearing your story and hearing now like what happened, I'm gonna listen to it again now, second time, because I feel like I know you kept it private, but it's crazy, like not crazy, but it's inspiring to see that, you know, you recovered so quick, and you know, you're good, but you came back motivated and be like, you know what, I'm gonna do what I do best. I've always loved making music,
and I'm gonna keep doing it.
To future Blitz 10 years from now, right? What do you look for? Where do you see yourself 10 years from now?
Just, be happy. Whatever you do, man, just be happy. And you know, other people's opinions, I mean, I've never really cared what other people's opinions, you know, but just continue to be happy, man. And with that happiness and that continuous pursuit of just righteousness, you'll always do right. You know, follow your gut. It's okay to be selfish. I think I'm gonna preach this until the day that I die. It's good to be selfish. Do what you want to do. You want to get back on a bike, get back on a fucking bike.
For sure.
You know,
I always wanted to get a bike, so
don't do it,
almost bro. Half like, so shout out to Samir, David, Kim, all got bikes, and they've been trying to recruit me. Had I not moved back home,
you were gonna do
and
it?
I was still in the city, I would have 100% bought the bike.
If you really want to do it. The thing I would tell your friends, I'm not sure how long they've been riding.
They're new riders. It's been like this summer.
Oh, okay. Then there you go.
They're doing. They got the jackets. They're going on rides.
They're still excited to ride, right? It's like when you first get your car license, you just drive around for the sake of driving around, right? Exactly. I mean, look, man. What I would say to your friends or anybody riding out there, yourself, definitely ride if you want to ride, because I want to ride again. But I should be living proof of literally anything can happen at any time. And the unfortunate part about a bike is that there's no margin for error. Right? Like when you fall, when your bike hits something, your body continues to do 100 kilometers an hour. The bike may stop, but you are flying down that road, bro.
That's crazy.
It's fucked, man. It's fucked. Surgeries while you're still awake.
Bro, it's crazy. It's blessed that, you know, that you're okay. That's the most important thing, man. And if I vibe with you, and, you know, I'll continue supporting. Demo tapes, where can everybody find it?
Everyone can find it on every single digital outlet out there. So Spotify, Apple Music, Google Play, Deezer, like YouTube, wherever, man. Just
and I'll include the link on my bio as well. Definitely listen to it. What's your favorite track?
My favorite track on the whole album. Damn, that's a fucking good. That's a good question. What's your favorite track?
So I like Documents.
Yeah. Why do you like it? Because it's so hip hop, right?
Really like, I was actually setting up and then I love running. There's like a medal over there too, but I did like the Scotiabank marathon.
Nice.
I enjoy getting out, hitting, and so I can only feel for you, man, because it
sucks, bro. Not being able to run, man. Because like the foot doesn't bend the same way it used to. So like, and you need full range to run.
Right.
But if I had to pick tracks, like the tracks that stand out to me the most are the first track, Put Your Hands Up, which is, and it's just memories of recording them. Like that was the first time I'd gone to England ever. I was in Rishi Rich's studio with Mentor, and this is the first time I'd met these guys, and the pressure was on because Rishi Rich and Juggy D were like, that's when Dance With You.
Were you nervous at the time?
I mean, well, like the advantage and the disadvantage of it was I knew they were a big deal. But because I was never been into Indian music, it wasn't like the equivalent of meeting like Mos Def for me, right? Like if I had met Mos Def, I'd be like, oh fuck, right? Like I'm a hip hop fan, right? So like I don't listen to Indian music, so I was like, okay, cool. But like at the same time, I was like, I know you guys are killing it right now, so impressing you guys would be a huge bonus for me.
Right.
So I walked into the studio. The first beat they played was this. And I was just like, and I've always been good at just one take. So that whole song is just one take, even the chorus. Like I didn't have anything written. I was
Like
just
a single take.
Just a single take. I was like, I walked in and I was like, yo, okay, what do you want me to rap on? And they're like, okay, what do you think about this? I was like, turn the mic on. I'm still like that till this day. I'm like, turn the mic on. And just straight from the start to the, like literally within the song's 2.5 minutes.
Yeah.
First 2.5 minutes of meeting them. Yo, plus record. I did it. Even the chorus, I had nothing to say, so I just made it up on the spot. Put your hands up. Yeah, keep your hand. But it just sounded cool.
Yeah.
And that, they created a mixtape that went all over England. That helped Mentor get signed to 2.9. So that experience sticks out in my head a lot. And then Hit Pass obviously is a favorite because, not because sonically, but because I was a kid in Mississauga. I released this.
Yeah.
And then my phone started blowing up from the UK. So I was like, oh shit. Like,
that's sick, man.
So both those songs, man.
Who was out of all the people that you met up until this point, who was the one person that was like, whoa, like,
I mean, meeting Apache Indian, bro, like, you know, like for us, you know, like it was like, he's one of the reasons that
the OGs,
like he inspired us, you know, like when he did Chuck Day and Arranged Marriage, like it was like, oh shit, there's brown guys doing this type of shit. You can do this. And my mom actually bought me his mixtape. Like, you know how they sold like albums at like roti stores and stuff, like grocery stores. Yeah. So my mom would take me to go get like atta.
The grocery store.
Yeah.
With the $1 VHS.
Yeah. That's my dumb. Yeah. So my mom like took me with her to like go buy like roti or something, and I wasn't behaving. I was a kid, so my mom's like, "Listen, if you shut the fuck up, I'll buy you this $1 VHS or something, right, or whatever, like tape." And I looked over the counter, and it was the cover of Chuck Day, where it was a brown guy, you know, with shaved head, baggy clothes, and I was like, "Yo, that guy looks like me." Like, so I took it home. So when I finally met him, and he invited us to his house. And me and Roach are sitting in his house with his family, playing pool with him, having drinks. Like he thought, because he knew, he looked at us like little proteges. Like, yo, I birthed these guys essentially, right? Yeah. So he really took us under his wing. So at that point, I remember like, yo. And then I remember also going to Punjabi MC's house. And this is when he, right after he had dropped Mundian to Bach Ke Beware the Boys with Jay-Z. Like he had an indoor pool in his house. Like I've never seen a brown guy with that till this day, right? Yeah. So I remember just sitting there. And
I don't know too many people with pools. Period. To be honest.
Yeah. To be honest. So it's like, dude, I remember leaving and me and Roche just looking at each other and we're like, "Yo, this guy has a song with Jay-Z." Like he invited us to his house. We're hanging out like by his pool.
That's crazy. Yeah.
It's like kind of like this, right? When somebody invites you into their house, it's a different vibe. Mm-hmm. It's like, oh shit, like
and it's like you, someone that you see behind TV, you're now in the comfort of their home. Right?
So that's in terms of the Desi scene, but in terms of the mainstream scene, I would Hugh Hefner, man.
I told you at the
Playboy Mansion, he was there.
Crazy,
like,
man.
So
bro, like you look back at your life, you lived it up, you know, and
lived it up, man. And still living, man.
And then, I mean, it's only getting started, right?
It's only getting started.
Because this post-pandemic world, like whatever this normalcy is, at the end of the day, it is what it is, and you got to make the most out of it, right?
100%. So every Sunday, guys, follow me at Blitz Music 1. Every Sunday at 11 a.m., brand new video, brand new song. I got 3 more albums coming out, and you know they'll be coming out in the next couple months. So I'm just gonna keep
any last words?
Any last words, man? Live your life to the fullest. Live the life you love and love the life you live, love man. That.
And what's your Mount Rushmore of rappers?
Top 5?
Top 4.
Top 4. Yeah. Holy fuck.
I think Mount Rushmore is 4, right?
I don't know, man. Like a freaking DC guy from Saga. I don't know how much Mount Rushmore.
Top 4.
First of all, what's your top 4? Let me put you on the spot. In no particular order. And to make it easier, you can't put Biggie, Jay-Z, or Nas on that list.
My top 4. Okay, so all time, Andre 3000.
Okay.
For sure. Up there. Warren G.
Warren G?
Yeah, I fucked with Warren G quite a bit.
He's like, hello. He did the typical Indian thing.
Method Man.
Yo.
Right?
So underrated, right? So underrated.
And then I got to say Kendrick.
Okay, so Kendrick has, to you, Kendrick.
You know what? That's probably going to change when you guys leave because it keeps changing every single time.
Yeah.
The thing is with the hip hop, there's so many. like there's so many chapters, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And I've grown accustomed to kind of like fucking with every era now because I'm trying to understand it.
Yeah.
Even now, like I'm a huge fan of Lil Durk.
Off the top of the bat, I want to say that Biggie's not even in my top 10.
Okay.
I've never been a huge Biggie fan. I'm not saying he's not good,
right,
but I just personally don't listen to him, right?
Yeah.
My top 4 would be Prodigy from Mobb Deep. I think Prodigy from Mobb Deep ruined my life. Yeah. Like I literally thought I was from Queensbridge, right? Like I literally thought I was Prodigy I still do. By the way, I always say it, but Prodigy, Mos Def.
Okay.
Fuck, that's a hard one, man. Prodigy, Mos Def, Method Man, and fuck, I don't even know, bro. The last one's a hard one, always, man. You know who would be up there, and not for lyrical, but like I said, you can have so many different conversations, like who's the most lyrical, who's whatever.
Yeah.
I think Snoop Dogg's amazing.
Oh yeah,
man.
for sure.
Like that guy can take 1, 2, 3 into the flow.
Yeah.
He just counts it, bro.
Still bob your head.
He understands melody and cadence.
Right. I replaced Warren G with KRS-One. KRS-One.
You're old school with it, eh?
Yeah.
How old are you? 60? Like what?
32,
this guy's got guru.
32.
This guy's got guru and KRS-One. Like.
You know, I spend my so Thursdays usually when I was at the condo, I would like smoke a joint.
Yeah.
And I would spend like the whole evening just listening to music.
Literally. You should take
that was my COVID thing that I would do.
You know who's amazing, man? Who I've been getting into lately? Freddie Gibbs.
That guy's crazy.
Crazy.
Yeah. He just dropped a deluxe version of his last album with 80 songs.
What?
80 songs. If you go on Spotify,
I'm gonna check that out.
Yeah, dude,
I'm gonna check that out.
It's
you know the downfall of Freddie Gibbs, and he's got like the same problem as Twista or whatever, is the delivery's always the same.
Yeah.
So I don't like the predictability where you know how this guy's gonna rap on the beat before he even raps.
Yeah.
You know, that's what I like about Method. Like Method comes out different style every time.
Yeah, that's
even
true.
Kendrick, like you never know how's this guy gonna rap on this beat, and he'll come different voices, different patterns, and you're like, fuck, this guy's a genius.
I'm hoping this guy drops a project.
That's the word, man. That's the word. Are you looking forward to Certified Lover Boy?
Yeah, I mean, like as much as like I like Drake. I'm a Drake fan. I think every track that he dropped is sick. I think it's gonna be a bit more on the melodic side.
Yeah, of course.
Right.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Well,
I'm not looking forward to it in the sense that I'm like, it's not like stencil or in the cap.
Would you put Drake in your top 10?
In my top 10? Yeah.
I would too.
Yeah, I put Kanye in there too, I think.
So does writing your lyrics matter?
Yeah.
It does?
True rap, like real rap. Are you saying because of his ghostwriter?
Oh, allegedly his ghostwriter.
Allegedly, but I mean, at the end of the day, like even his lyrics to his songs aren't too bad, right?
I think Drake said something, and I truly stand by it, where he's like, look, man, even if somebody did write my raps, let's just say, if you were to give those raps to anyone else, they wouldn't sound. They wouldn't be able to execute. Yeah, they wouldn't be able to execute. It's the delivery. So much goes into being an artist. It's the delivery, the cadence, your appearance, everything, man. Like so.
That's what the rap game today has evolved so much.
Yeah,
right? There's so many pieces where like nowadays, like you know, it's hard to come out with an album where it's just pure lyricism and to break it. And I think you know one thing that maybe. Like, you know, I know a lot of people brand themselves as South Asian rappers, but like it's even just saying that you're a rapper and just hitting not just South Asians now and affiliating because we know that these are going to be haters and they're not going to be as supportive. It's like, I'm just going to reach everybody, reach the whole audience, right?
And that's the beauty, man. Just, I think it keeps going back to the same thing that we're saying is like, be true to yourself, be true to who you are. You want to rap, man, rap. You want to do Bhangra music, do Bhangra music. You want to do fucking German music, do German music. Who the fuck cares, right? Yeah. Like
you do what you want to do.
Do what you want. Live. Be selfish. Live the life you live, man.
Exactly.
Love it.
What's your handle? Where can everyone find you?
At Blitz Music 1. So 1 as in the number. So at Blitz Music 1, man. And just follow me, man. New music every fucking Sunday.
Bro, it was a pleasure having you in the studio.
Thank you so much, man. Cheers to you, brother. Cheers, and by the way, man, this spice rum is dope. I know your buddy made it.
Shout out to Island Diaz Spice Rum.
Island Diaz, I need a sponsorship, all right, bro? So if you're looking for drunk Punjabi guys to sponsor, look no further.
We might throw like actually I shouldn't say this on the air, so I'll say it after. But everybody else, hope you guys enjoyed today's podcast.
Thank you.
Tony, thanks for coming in.
Man,
Santosh, nice to meet you. Thanks for coming in. Everybody
shout out
else.
to JD and Pinder.
Yeah, any shout outs?
I want to shout out to me. Remember when who said that?
Kanye?
Snoop Dogg? It was Snoop Dogg.
Oh, it's Snoop Dogg. Yeah.
Because I want to thank me for believing in myself and getting putting in the work to get me to where I am. No, but all jokes aside, man, the shout outs that I do want to give is I want to thank people like yourself, Sonny, because if there wasn't people out there providing the platforms and selflessly just putting in the work, because this is work, man. We could be doing anything right now. You could be working out, hanging with your girl, whatever, right?
Yeah.
So thank you for providing a platform for people like me to display my talent. And thank you to all the real people out there. Not even that know me, but if you're a real one out there, man, and you're the type of person that's gonna roll up and check your friend in the cold on the other side of the fucking hospital glass, shout out to you, man, for just being a genuine person. Shout out to Santosh publicly, man. Thank you, man. I never really thanked you, so thank you for lifting me when I couldn't even walk myself. Thank you for helping me walk when I couldn't walk myself, man. Thank you.
Much love, man.
Hey,
Much
man.
love. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, man.
Today reminded me of why I do podcasting. Is exactly this reason.
This is awesome, bro.
When I heard, hearing about, not just this story, but hearing about your whole career, right? And I hope, like, for anybody out there that's listening, they find some sort of inspiration as well. We got to do a better job at supporting each other.
100%, man.
Community is everything at the end of the day, right?
100%, bro. And you know what? You got to come down, man. Next time Pinder's always at my house, you got to.
Oh,
I'm officially inviting you out, man.
I'm not going to wait 4 years now.
No. Like, your barbecue's at my house. Come through, man.
Properly,
Yeah, we'll do it, man. Thank you very much, man.
All right, guys. Peace.